Just as a preface, before this episode starts, this is a continuation of our WrestleMania, NJPW Impact, and Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor predictions. If you haven't listened to the episode just prior to this one, we posted both of them at the same time. So go back and listen to the first one, and then come back and listen to this one. If you just listened to the first one, thanks for listening, and hope you enjoy this one.
Okay, and we're moving on to the grandest stage of them all with WrestleMania Night 1.
Night 1.
Well, I mean, Night 2 as well, because we really don't know what's going on.
We only know
for which day.
We only know that Night 1 is going to start it off with Austin Theory versus John Cena. I believe Becky Lynch. Now, this is something to bring up before we even go any further. As of right now, on all these matches, we still have a couple days before the pay-per-view, so anything can happen. It's the fucking wrestling world now. We still have a Raw and a SmackDown before WrestleMania.
Sure.
And there's been rumors that Becky Lynch and Lita will be defending their tag titles on day 2.
Yeah, she did a podcast today and mentioned something, if I'm not...
She did an interview in Ireland about... WrestleMania, and said they asked her about the tag titles, and she said, "Well, I will be fighting in the 6-woman tag match on night 1, and then hopefully we're trying to figure out maybe defend my belts on night 2 and call myself Becky 2 nights or whatever." So
something like that.
There may be a second match. Women's match added to the second day.
Correct.
Which it would make sense. Why wouldn't you defend the tag titles?
Sure. Then that makes 7 matches for each night. That brings it up to 14. Right now we're at 13. So we may get another match.
Potential one. So we'll visit that one as well.
Right.
Actually, while we're on it, if we have a match between Lita and Becky Lynch versus who, though?
I don't know, because
you had mentioned
maybe the Fatal 4-Way will determine who is going to face them.
I believe they're going to give if they don't, then it would make, storyline-wise, it would make sense if they had the women's tag showcase 4-way, where it's going to have 4 women's tag teams will be going up against each other for a win. They haven't announced the 4th one yet. But I'm assuming that between those 4 tag teams, whoever wins will then go for the title the next day.
Which is also weird. That means that team would fight
2 days in a
both WrestleManias as well.
Right. Which I can see them doing.
It's possible. Now, I know you've been speculating for a while who you thought was going to be the next women's tag team to get the title or face the champions. Who do you think is going to win this particular match?
Well... And we're also, again...
I'm sorry...
the Fatal 4-Way between the women's. And obviously the 4th team has not been announced. It'll probably be announced this week. Honestly, I'm assuming that's going to be Chelsea Green and Carmella as the 4th tag team.
That makes the most sense.
But I think that the most recent announced participant, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, are going to win this match and then take the titles from Becky Lynch and Lita come Sunday.
Which would be such bullshit, because they didn't even fight to get into this.
No, they just got
added.
They
literally just said that they got added.
Yeah, they walked out and said, we just got added to it.
Which, I'm sorry.
The most awkward promo.
The most awkward promo. Those two have the worst mic skills, and I do not want to be known for the podcast that shits on people or talks smack, but let's be real here. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler have absolutely no personality, and their mic skills are just
like Shayna
horrible
so badly.
I like Shayna as far as her wrestling style. I do. But man, when she starts talking, she's so awkward. Dakota Kai is another one.
Yep.
She is so awkward when she comes out. She moves her body a lot and laughs at weird things. And I feel like I would be that way because I'm awkward in crowds
almost
too.
Like she's taking a moment to make noises so that she could think of what she's about to say.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And it's with Shayna and Ronda, again, Ronda Rousey's obviously a she's done very well in MMA. She's,
Yes.
obviously transferred it over to wrestling, and I don't want to take anything away from her as like an athlete or anything like that. But it just sounds like they sat behind in Gorilla and were reading off index cards. Okay, this is exactly what I'm going to say, and they go out and recite it. But they don't recite it like it's a natural thing. It sounds like they're reading lines.
It does, and then they always look at each other for help. But neither of them are strong, so neither of them can help each other. It's odd to me.
It looks like a college film.
It's very awkward.
It's
like two high school kids trying to get over. You know what I mean?
And they're both very talented in the ring. Like, not to take that away. They just
don't need to talk.
They look like somebody who's not supposed to be a wrestler stepped into a wrestling ring in a wrestling match, and they know a bunch of moves and they know the technicalities.
Oh,
of
okay.
It,
So
but
Paige Van Zandt.
Okay, it doesn't feel like they know how to portray a wrestler.
They're completely different styles, and I think from an outsider's perspective, somebody would think if you can do MMA, you can wrestle. And that's not how it works. And obviously, look at CM Punk. It doesn't work the other way either.
Yeah.
So let's be real. They're two different things. Yeah, Jake Hager succeeds really well in MMA, and he's a decent wrestler. He had a pretty good match against Brody King on Rampage this week. But they're two completely different things.
Yeah.
And you have to... I just have a problem with MMA fighters coming into wrestling because they don't know how to fake hit.
Right, that's the problem. Is you've been kicking people in the face for real for so long. When you pull your punch, it looks fake.
Yeah.
Like, I can pull up a film of you annihilating people with your shins, knees, elbows, fists, whatever you got, putting them in Kimura locks and like things that you could potentially really damage a human being. And then you come into wrestling and you put somebody in a figure 4 leg lock, and it just doesn't feel convincing. And that might be an aspect of being an MMA wrestler or an MMA fighter turned into a wrestler, is you have to get through that barrier and make it
You have to learn how to
believable.
sell it.
It just, I don't know.
That's something Ronda has not gotten.
Yeah.
She does not know how to sell. I mean, thank God they redid that spot with Shotzi where she had the apron. She did such a better job. It was like a completely different person wrestling.
Onto the ropes.
God, but yeah, okay.
But yeah,
I mean, I just said Raquel and Liv. I don't know who the other team is. Again, so I can't really say, but I feel like they're trying so hard to push Raquel and Liv.
Okay, well, if that's the case, do you think that Raquel and Liv will end up winning the tag titles the next night if it becomes a thing?
No.
You don't think? You don't
I'm
know?
not invested in the women's tag team division
There's
right
not been a
now.
lot
If
of-
I'm being
there's not been a
honest,
lot to it.
it's a pretty stale fart. And I got to be honest, the men's tag team division is pretty bad in WWE right now too.
Yeah.
So I'm not really excited about that match either, if I'm being honest. I don't know.
Well, while we're on the topic, we've got the Fatal 4-Way tag team match with, let's see, Braun Strowman and Ricochet, Viking Raiders, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy.
I just went with my gut on this one. And I don't know if you heard me. We were doing our predictions separately, so we didn't tell each other. But I kept saying, go with your gut. Because I didn't know what to do. And my gut, the only thing that I could make any bit of sense is just to push the Street Profits. That's the only thing that made sense to me. Maybe have the Street Profits face whoever wins the tag team match at WrestleMania.
I don't know.
It'd be entertaining either way.
I went full WWE with this. I picked Braun Strowman and Ricochet.
It felt like the obvious answer.
And that's what I went with.
It's so forced.
You went with your gut, and so did I. But my gut went with the obvious answer.
I can understand why you came to that conclusion, because a piece of me was like, that's so obvious.
Yeah,
Did they stay the stipulation to win this? Do they get to face the winner of
WrestleMania? I feel like it's on a grand enough stage that it would warrant it. That if they win it's WrestleMania. You won your tag match at WrestleMania. I feel like that would open up the idea of, giving them a title shot, because whoever wins the tag titles during WrestleMania, they're going to have somebody to go against,
and it could be them. That would make sense.
That into at least a couple weeks of storyline.
That's why I said Street Profits, because the Usos versus Street Profits makes sense.
Okay, I can see that.
KO and Sami makes total sense.
I think anybody we'll get into that one. But yeah, I'm going Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and you're going Street Profits.
Yep.
Okay, we'll write it down in the books then.
Okay.
Let's go into something that we're a little bit more excited for.
Okay, please.
Rhea Ripley is going to be challenging Charlotte Flair for her SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yes.
This one is probably, between the two women's championship matches, this is probably the biggest build-up.
Yep.
And it's funny that I even have to say that, because if you listen to our podcast about 2-3 weeks ago, you will even hear Jamie saying They haven't done shit with this.
They went for so long without doing anything.
But man, did they redeem themselves. They came in swinging over one promo and made the entire WWE Universe want this match to happen.
It's amazing what one really good promo can do.
And now they've done it a couple more times where they had some promos in between them. Charlotte Flair came out.
Charlotte came out by herself on Raw.
Yep, cut a promo the week before. They had Charlotte and Rhea go face-to-face with each other. This is one of my most excited matches for the night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
I think both of you and I are in agreement. I think Rhea Ripley is going to walk away with a SmackDown championship.
I think they put the belt on Charlotte to make her a great transitional champion so that it's more exciting for Rhea to win. It makes sense. Charlotte doesn't need the win. She doesn't need the belt, but it just tacks on another tally mark in her wins because she's at, 14 times now?
14 times, still winning
So it gives
them.
her one more tally to get closer to her dad.
Right.
And then it gives Rhea a fantastic win and something that the Judgment Day could just really use is of somebody with a belt.
Right.
Because she's in charge. I mean, let's be real. Rhea Ripley is in charge.
Oh,
she's the
100%.
one running Judgment Day. So for
Mommy
her to
is
come out with
running the show right
the
now.
SmackDown's Women's Championship belt,
Oh, yeah. I feel like...
yeah.
And then,
again, she's young.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this
And not
is a
that
great
Charlotte
time
Flair's
to push
not
her.
young, but at the same time, she's been
She's
tried
probably got
and
10
true,
years
and,
on her.
I mean, maybe it's time to go for the Raw Championship now that she's lost the SmackDown Championship. Who knows? Or not that she has, but...
Well, let's talk about that because...
the less exciting one that nobody's really wanting to have happen.
I am a huge Bianca Belair fan. I am a huge Asuka fan. We're not pushing this, but I personally am excited for the match. But I do not see Bianca dropping this belt anytime soon. I think she's right at that year cusp, or she's at
Pretty close to it, if not
a monumental number with her championship. And I do not think.
I'm going to probably put my foot in my mouth, but I think she holds the record for holding that belt.
I think
probably
so.
Wrong, though.
Or she's close to it.
We're talking about.
But I think we need to hold on to that. I think Bianca is a great, not only she's great on the mic, she makes her own clothing. So how useful is that she does her own attire? She's a phenomenal wrestler. She's a phenomenal influence to the young generation of women that are watching.
Oh, 100%.
She comes out there sometimes in some skimpy clothes and she looks great. She knows how to flaunt it. But she is a very good role model for the kids that are watching this show and the people that are watching this show. She's just so good. Her and Montez are just so good. I don't know. I just don't see anybody taking this belt from her for a while.
Well, in classic coffee and wrestling fashion, I am going to disagree with you. And I think that for once, WWE might get their head out of their ass and put the belt on Asuka and actually give her a championship run that she deserves.
She does deserve it. I wouldn't be mad at it. I got to agree with you.
I just, for some reason, they don't want to put the belt on her and give her the space she needs to become a fan favorite. Not that she's not a fan favorite.
No, I think it's the language barrier again.
But
I think
feel
because
like
she can't come out and speak.
But there's so many
as
ways
clearly.
around that.
There
There's so
are,
many ways
but they
around
haven't
that.
tried
And
it.
the idea that they haven't, but they have though, with how many different performers they've done.
But not with her is what I
right.
mean.
And I don't know. One thing I got to say about this match is I am floored that they have completely dropped the ball on the promotion for this match. They've only recently have had them really interacting with one another.
But they had them tag up in a match together. I thought that was weird.
Like 4 other people, and then she just came out and watched, and
then
I just
Asuka laughed, and I don't know, it's weird.
I don't like the way they've pushed this match, and I'm really hoping that all of this awkwardness ends in something better during this match. But yeah, I'm picking Asuka. Hopefully, maybe a little bit of change will help.
I mean, I think that they should do something with her for sure.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know. I just, I don't think it's time yet.
All right, well, moving on to matches that we're really not excited for. And I know we always try to look at the positive side of wrestling. Brock Lesnar will be taking on...
Remember, he didn't want to fight Bray Wyatt.
Supposedly, we don't have confirmation of that.
All right.
That it was offered him, and he decided not to. But I could do a rebuttal on that. I could see it's not really his forte into the spoopy kind of wrestling.
I can see that.
He's more of like big fights. Even with Taker, they didn't do anything where he wasn't getting crucified or he wasn't like getting covered in blood or there wasn't a casket. But
yeah, Omos.
Omos versus Brock Lesnar. Now, the only person...
This is the match where you heat up the nacho cheese.
Yeah,
you grab a couple beers.
Grab a beer.
Maybe go to the bathroom.
I think this match is 100% whatever the outcome is, and I think this is 100% to try and legitimize Omos. I think that if they do this right, if they, regardless of whether we want this match to happen or not, or whether we're excited or not, the match is going to happen. I think if they do this match right, if they do Omos the justice of not making him look like an insignificant bug compared to Brock Lesnar, somebody who has got to be on the way out of WWE here soon. He's been in it for so long, and there's not a lot more for him to do besides, what are you going to do, fight Logan Paul?
Right.
And I'm not
calling
saying,
it. That's WrestleMania next year.
And I'm not saying that this is my choice as to who's going to win, but I think that this match has the potential to give Omos a little bit more legitimacy to the crowd. He has been around long enough that everybody knows who he is.
Right.
They have pushed him as this giant monster of a man.
Of course. Those camera shots are really pushing the tall guy home.
He even dominated over Braun Strowman when they wrestled
right.
At Elimination Chamber, I believe.
Yeah.
It was a very short match, and Omos looked better than Strowman did.
Do you think they're going to let Omos win over Brock?
No. I don't think so either. I don't think that he's going to win.
I don't think Brock would agree to that.
Brock Lesnar's going to win, and I think this is going to be the farewell tour, the beginning of the farewell tour of Brock Lesnar.
Sure.
I know it's rumored that he has said he wants out of WWE once his contract is up. I think this is going to be the end of Brock Lesnar. He's going to round off his career in WWE
sure.
and go away for a while.
He might win one more strap, not the big one.
You never know. You never know. But I'm just saying, I think that Omos has the opportunity to look good in this match, but
he does. But I don't think they're going to do it.
Of it. Yeah.
I think it's just to keep Brock happy. Personally, they're going to give him the win.
You mean paid?
Yes, keep Brock happy. Brock paid. He brings in people.
I mean, he's been on TV.
Let him do his stupid spot and let him laugh. Let him do his little tractor spot or whatever he wants to do with his cowboy hat. And
he has been on TV like 3 times and has not hit an F5. So I'm sure his dues are coming.
He's dying.
Yeah, he doesn't get. I don't think he gets paid if he's not F5 and motherfuckers.
It's very crucial to his. Yeah, he gets like a bonus every time he hits one.
Yeah, I'm going Lesnar on this one. 100%.
Have to agree. If we're going to talk about Logan Paul, let's talk about his match between him and Seth Rollins.
Okay, why?
Why? Because it's happening at WrestleMania.
I didn't want to remember that this match was happening.
I mean, I think it's going to be entertaining. I don't think it's going to be the one that's like, wow, I can't believe Logan Paul will do one crazy shot, maybe take a selfie.
Yep. Well, I mean,
Seth
he's knocked
Rollins
out Seth
down
for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every time they interact with each other.
Right.
But obviously Rollins is one of WWE's hottest stars right now. Who you going with?
I don't see why Logan Paul needs a win and why Seth Rollins would need to take a loss to him at WrestleMania. That seems so silly, but Seth Rollins can take the loss. I don't know. I think Seth Rollins needs a good push. He needs to keep, I don't know.
See, and this is what kind of made me kind of teeter-totter between these. And it's not like I think that Logan Paul needs to go over Seth Rollins. However, I think, and we're talking opportunities here, WrestleMania is not just the biggest stage of them all, but it's also like the season ender of WWE.
Yeah, this is wrapping up a lot of storyline.
Everything's at a head. Like, this is where everything comes to a final, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. The KO and Sami versus the Usos.
Finn Balor and Edge.
Finn Balor and Edge. It's all coming to a head. And I feel like this could be something to where, like you're talking about, Seth Rollins needs a push. He needs something. Not that he doesn't need he needs something new, but he feels like he's sitting in the same spot and he's running the same, routes in between pay-per-views.
Okay.
I feel like, and before I even I'm going to preface this with, I think Rollins is going to win.
Okay.
100%. I went with my gut feeling that Rollins is going to win. However, I think that this is a good opportunity that you can give the win to Logan Paul. You give the win to Logan Paul and you make Seth Rollins go on almost like a Baron Corbin.
Austin Theory kind of like
broken man goes and refines himself and
like
comes
new
back
Joker-esque, like Joaquin Phoenix Joker,
and comes back as a revitalized Seth Rollins, a new you know,
you got to hit the bottom to come back, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like he's like just kind of teetering like 3/4 up, you know, 1/4 down, like not really going anywhere.
Maybe he starts to laugh and then he starts to cry. Like, you know he's kind of had like a bad thing going.
I mean, look at Becky Lynch. It did perfect for her. She was off TV for a good long while with a shoulder injury. And I know that was obviously unplanned.
Right.
But when they brought her back, it was like, oh shit, like Becky Lynch is back. Like,
right.
The entire crowd went batshit, you know? Of
course.
So I think that this is a good opportunity. They could do that. But if you're going to ask me who's going to win, I'm 99% sure that Seth Rollins is going to win.
Yeah, my gut says that as well. Right, and I'll just keep going with what we're going with here. We're talking about Becky Lynch. Did we ever say who we thought was going to win that 6-man tag match?
No, we brought it up, but we never talked about it.
All right, so it's Becky Lynch and Lita and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control, which is Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky.
Well, Damage Control is just Bayley or Io Sky and Dakota Kai, which I really wish they
with
didn't.
Bayley.
Their names are so confusing when you have to say them together. I'll just be outright with you. I think that Damage Control and Bayley are going to win this.
Okay.
I have no reason why.
You just gut?
I just don't see. A lot of people are saying something about Trish Stratus doing a heel run, which okay,
I've heard.
But
Makes sense.
I can't see why you'd want to bury tried and true talent of Bayley and 2 upcoming women's stars underneath 2 WWE legends that have already stumped out them.
Because WWE is weird about that sometimes, and they feel like if you put a legend on a pay-per-view, I don't know if it's because the people who agree to be on the pay-per-view want to win.
Yeah.
But they feel like it feels like sometimes they put these superstars who are, like you said, obviously past their prime into these matches, and you're like, wow, this had like no build-up. This is so weird. Why do this?
Right.
Just to give the pictures and the legacy of, oh my God, Trish Stratus and Lita won at WrestleMania. And it's like, for nothing. They didn't even win a belt.
I could see them doing this as like just a promotional thing, like, oh, Lita and Trish Stratus are making their return and they're teaming up with Becky Lynch to fight
exactly.
these 3. But
sounds good on paper.
What bothers me is the idea that the women's tag match, or the women's tag team championships are intertwined in this, and they're as of right now. And again, like I said, I think it's going to change to where something happens Sunday. But as it stands right now, they're not defending the women's tag team championship.
And it's
the
weird.
only belt that's not being defended on the WrestleMania
Did they
card.
not learn from Naomi and Sasha Banks? Like, I'm not trying to be that person, but they just went through this exact same thing with the women's division, tag team division,
where
they were
TV,
literally
they
literally threw their belts down on the table and were like, if we're not going to defend these, then what the hell are we doing?
Yeah,
and here we are again. And Damage Control was the same way. They would go weeks and weeks and weeks not defending their title.
Yep. And
why?
And then when they finally do, they defend them against Becky Lynch and random returning.
They lost them
legend.
to Alexa Bliss and Asuka for like a day.
Yep, and then won them back.
Why?
I don't know. I don't
understand it. I'm very confused.
It's like somebody completely forgets about the women's tag division and goes, oh, shit, we need to have a match. Just have them win. Yeah, we'll worry about it next week.
Where's Dana Brooke? Where's what's her name? Lacey Evans. Like, where's Xia Li? They just grab women that they have nothing to do with anything, and they're like, oh, here, get in a tag team.
Yep.
And it's so boring. I don't want to see any of these people wrestle with each other.
So who do you think is going to win this? You think you're going with?
I'm going to go with the legends. What do they call them? The Golden Girls and Becky Lynch, because it looks good on paper.
Okay, so you're going to the opposite I'm going with. Okay.
I like it.
Up next, we have what's going to open WrestleMania.
Okay.
Austin Theory will be taking on John Cena for the United States Championship.
As I go against everything I just said about WWE legends and think that this is purely to put Austin Theory over as not the next John Cena, as Austin Theory, and get him a phenomenal win for the history books, I'm going Austin Theory.
I've got to agree with you. I don't think John Cena, after being back one day in Boston and then that was it, after accepting the challenge, getting the belt would be a good idea.
No.
But this is
no
WWE
offense,
we're talking
John,
about too.
I think you had a great run. You are a WWE legend. He does not have it to be the champion again.
Oh, no.
Austin Theory has plenty of time under his belt.
Yeah. John Cena wishes he was still as good and as fit as Austin Theory is right now.
Absolutely.
I can't see them having John Cena bury him. It would be
why? Austin Theory does not need that right now.
No, I'm saying I can't see them.
No, I'm agreeing. I'm just saying why would you do that? That would be so silly. You've worked so hard to build this guy up, and then you're going to have him to lose to somebody who's fought 2 matches, 3 matches in a year.
Tell me if there wasn't a better person to have you put over at WrestleMania. But
That's
John
what I
Cena.
mean, because everybody's always compared him to John Cena. So this is the good time to differentiate himself from
Break
John
those
Cena.
barriers and say, I'm better than John
Yep.
Cena, and finally put him over.
If you don't listen to Chris Van Vliet, he has a podcast. He's just an all-around entertaining guy. He also interviews not only just wrestling people, but just actors and things like that in general. He just had a great interview that he put out with Austin Theory, and where Austin Theory talks about how he doesn't want to be, the next John Cena or
Right.
the next this, next that. I am the only Austin Theory. So I really do think that he's going to have a great run with this belt for a while.
All right, rounding off the gimmick match for the WrestleMania pay-per-view premium live event, we have Finn taking on Edge in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yes.
This is not for a belt. This is just for bragging rights. Finn and him have been going back and forth ever since he's been extradited out of the Bad Boys Club. What do they call themselves?
The Judgment Day.
There we go. Yeah.
Edge didn't want to be spoopy anymore, so he decided to leave the Judgment Day. And
Didn't want to be spoopy, but then showed up like he was fucking a Hellboy extra. Oh, I'm definitely saving that audio clip. Who are you going with us on this one? I mean,
I just felt like I'm going to go with my gut and just say Edge.
I did the same thing.
But
I could see them putting Finn over. He's currently involved
He
in
could use
everything
it.
Judgment Day.
no offense.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he just like snaps back and the old Finn Balor comes out. The
demon.
The demon.
Well, he
Finn
said
Balor.
Edge has
He hinted at
invited the
it.
demon to come show up, and he'll show him the devil.
Yeah, a regular just
Corny
Finn.
ass 98 Rock promo.
The two of them are corny ass 98 Rock promo.
Yeah.
That's just a local radio
If you,
station.
yeah, I was
if
gonna say
you're
if
not
you
in
don't know
Florida.
if you don't know what 98 Rock is, pick whatever generic new metal. Yeah,
The
metal.
Drowning Pool, Alice in Chains, what's that?
Five Finger Death Punch,
Volbeat.
Volbeat.
They all play on that channel, and that's how I feel that this match is it's corny.
It's going to be a Volbeat music
If
video.
I'm being honest, I'm not really excited for it.
No.
I think they just took like a wet fart and threw a cage match over it, try to make it more interesting. I hope I'm wrong.
Just a fart in a
I'm
cage.
just glad that this is over. Give it to either and let's go.
Yep, I agree, but I think it's going to go to Edge.
Okay.
Well, another one of his Judgment Day brethren will be performing this night, and this one I'm excited for.
Okay.
We have Dominic Mysterio will finally be going face to face against his poppy,
His real dad.
his real poppy. Well, yeah, it depends on. Well, no, he won that ladder match. Therefore, he is the legal parent of Dominic Mysterio,
Rey Mysterio. You called this one, like I said, about 6 months ago. You said they're going to fight at WrestleMania.
I still wish they would have done the angle where he interrupted his Hall of Fame induction, and it doesn't mean he won't. But I really wish that would have been the night before WrestleMania. That's when you have Dominic come out.
Still hasn't been confirmed. Match still has not been
Yes, it has.
confirmed. No. I'm saying that would have been great.
Yeah.
The match has not been confirmed. Ray still does not want to fight him.
All the
and
way
then
through,
he comes out and he does
his
this
wife's
speech.
out there. Yep, he's out there accepting his Hall
daughter.
of Fame. This is the happiest moment of my life. I worked so hard to be here, and thank you so much for recognizing. And then here comes Dominic Mysterio and fucking Rhea Ripley, and they absolutely. And Triple H comes out. The whole fucking they play
Security.
it up. Security comes out, and
Right.
he rolls up at a fucking lowrider.
You got Damian
everything.
Priest holding the security back.
Yep, and you just have to make this big ordeal about it, and he finally snaps and goes after
that would've been
Dominic. Says,
great.
that's it, you're mine at WrestleMania. You wanted the match, set this match up. I'm gonna kick your ass one final time here at WrestleMania.
I thought he was going to attack his mom.
I thought he was gonna smack his sister.
Yeah.
When his sister stood up and he's like, "Shut up, you wouldn't know." But I thought he was.
I thought it was going to get physical.
That would have been perfect though.
Yeah.
Have him smack. I don't know about smacking your mom. That I'd
She
jump.
got to be okay with it.
I would have jumped the guardrail and beat his ass, kayfabe or not.
But that would have been the only way that it would have made sense. That there's no way you cannot
Ray finally
honor
got
your
mad enough.
wife and
Yep.
fight your son.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it didn't actually take that much, and he agreed to it.
So who do you think is gonna win this match?
I just go right back to who needs this? Does Ray need this win? No. What a legendary thing for Dominic to say, I beat my dad, and to continue with his forward momentum, because he is on the up and up and up and up. I think personally that he's going to go down in 20 years. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame doing the same thing with his dad there. I think Dominic's going to be a great person to invest our time and effort into now. But to give him something like that, what a huge push for the rest of his career. I beat my dad at WrestleMania, and it's got to be clean.
Oh, it's got to be.
Got to be clean.
No, it doesn't. Eddie Guerrero would be so happy if it wasn't clean.
I say every time I watch Dominic, I'm like, Eddie's just laughing his ass off. He is loving this.
It's great.
He is keeping the legacy going. I absolutely love it.
I agree with you. I hope it's Dominic. I hope that he puts over. I hope Rey puts over his son. And
why wouldn't you?
I feel like this would be the perfect time. He just gets in the Hall of Fame. I almost feel like this would be the perfect time to retire.
Agreed.
I don't know
you
if he will.
put over your son and you put your hat. You take the mask off
and you hand it to your son. And
you
that's
know.
It. He finally has that coming of age, like, oh my God, I just beat the shit out of my dad.
Exactly.
Everything's,
he needs it. Rey doesn't need this.
No. Rey's already had
Look at the guys
his star.
beat. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was the person who had all the legendary matches in the last WWE game. You got to go through all that. Like, he's done his time. It's Dom's time for sure. Prison Dom. Mommy and him are going to go celebrate hard Sunday night. Okay, next is the WWE Intercontinental Title Triple Threat match, which I am way too excited for.
A lot of people are really excited over this.
I mean, it's like jam-packed with superstars. We got Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, who have been best friends for a really long time, very much like a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn kind of thing. They've been lads for a while. I know Drew McIntyre was Sheamus's best man at his wedding. You know, like they're really good friends, but now they're kind of going back and forth at each other, trying to win, trying to be the number one contender to face Gunther for the Intercontinental title.
And we also had Sheamus and Gunther had that amazing match last year.
Oh my God, that was one of the best matches of last year.
Oh, 100%. You talk about hard hitting. I'm surprised those two were able to breathe when they were down their chests.
Oh yeah. So now we're throwing Drew McIntyre in.
Yeah, I think all three of these guys don't get the good moniker of big meaty men. Granted, Gunther's not as meaty.
He's a big meaty man. He's less meaty than he used to be.
Well, he's I believe he's more meaty, less fluff.
Okay, sure.
But he's not as meaty as Sheamus and Drew. But I mean, at the same time, look at Drew. 10 years ago, he was about Gunther's size.
Oh my God, it's funny. We were just talking about how on earth did the 3-man band at the time have Drew McIntyre,
Jinder
Mahal, and Heath
motherfucking Slater. And if you've seen Heath now, he is no scrawny little man.
Damn, I just saw a video of him the other day. I was like, yo, is that Heath?
And of course, we all know Jinder.
Kids, man.
We all know Jinder Mahal he's massive now.
All three of them are
Drew
huge.
McIntyre is just massive.
It's crazy what Drew's turned into. So now the three of them are going up against each other. What do you think's going to happen here? Because I have a little bit of a theory as to what I think's going to happen.
I think Sheamus is going to win.
Okay, interesting.
I think this is a good spot for Gunther to drop the title and maybe move on to something bigger and better. I think that Sheamus is a great guy to put the belt on because I like Sheamus.
Okay.
And I think Drew McIntyre is going to add a lot of flavor to this, and then you're going to see a rivalry between Sheamus and Drew over the next couple of weeks, whether it's a long-term thing or a short-term thing. I'm not really too sure.
Okay.
But I feel like that's the direction they're going to go with this.
Okay, very interesting you say that because I could almost say ditto. Like, that's pretty much exactly what my theory is in this. They are really pushing home that Sheamus has never won this title.
Right.
Which I keep hearing them say on commentary, so I'm making note of. They're trying to push this.
Right.
And I don't think it was a good time to give up the Intercontinental title at that pay-per-view when he did fight Sheamus. That wasn't the time.
No, but it could have been, but no.
No,
but
that was not right for Gunther.
That put Gunther over terribly well.
Did. That's all he needed. Since then, he's just been on the up and up and up and up, and I think that's why he's going to drop it, because I think Gunther is going to be, and I won't say who because we'll get to that, whoever wins between Roman and Cody, I think that is their new number one
opponent,
contender
Gunther?
for the belt is going to be Gunther.
I can agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yep.
I can 100%. He's got the potential.
The heavyweight strap.
Even if he doesn't win, he needs the run. He needs the build up. He needs to get on that level. And he's ready.
Even
to be
losing a
moved
couple
to that
matches
level.
would be okay.
Right. He's ready for that level.
He
and
is.
I think WWE has done a great job not only developing him with this belt, but bringing some value back to this Intercontinental
the belt
title. Same thing
itself.
with the United States belt.
100%. Those two titles are almost as important as Roman's belt right now. Got to agree with you there. But I think Gunther is the next person after whoever wins it to get the
shot.
Get the belt.
Get the belt?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're going to talk about titles that matter, I
Yeah.
don't think, other than the last two matches we have, I don't think any other title matters more right now at this WrestleMania. I know the women's matches have a lot of value to them. I know the United States, the Intercontinental title, they have a lot of potential for them, but I think in the grand scheme of things, these next two matches are by far what everybody is watching WrestleMania for. Our first one is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, the Montreal Boys, will be taking on the Usos for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. And this is after weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yes, this is the match I called. This one I'm proud of.
I think, honestly, I think everybody called this. I feel like 6 months ago, people were like, well, this is what's going to happen. And now we're there. And again, we were talking about how sometimes the WWE takes that obvious path. I think this is going to be one of those very obvious paths. And I am putting all of my eggs in the basket of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Me too.
The win at this one.
But I wish, from my understanding, Hunter is not happy with there being undisputed championships.
Right.
So I can't, for the life of me, understand why they didn't separate the belts here and just let the Usos have SmackDown and let KO and Sammy have the Raw and let them continue that rivalry between them, because I feel like completely taking the belts off the Usos, it just ends the bloodline.
Oh, 100%.
And I don't know what you do with the Usos from here, aside from take them off TV for a little bit.
But I mean, they've been on TV for so long. I feel like you got to do that. You got to pull them off TV for a little bit to get them.
They're great faces,
making you
too.
want them more. I mean,
they
Maki Ito
could.
said something very familiar about her career. People talking like, how often are you going to be in the United States? And she even said, I only want to be here so often for so amount of time. So then my value is more appreciated. So that when I'm only here for 2 weeks, people are like, oh my God, Maki Ito's only going to here for the next 2 weeks. We need to go see this match.
And it's been like this for a while, where it's like the matches come up and you're like, it's Usos versus whoever. And you're like, no way, it's Usos.
Yeah, the Usos
so I feel like it's
Brutes.
finally
Usos versus
the
Street
time.
Profits. Usos versus
The Viking Raiders. Or, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Any team, it doesn't matter. And I feel like it's finally at a point where it's like, this matters. Like, this could legitimately happen.
Now, if they do win, how
Who's
do you
that?
split
Usos or
Kevin
KO
Owens and Sami Zayn?
Okay.
How do you split this belt? Do you keep I
don't know. I thought this was the way to do it.
Split them. Like, how do you? I guess you would have to have another tag team challenge for the SmackDown belt, or have some. We're separating the belts, and you gotta. The
thing I can think to do is have the the talent, KO and Sami Zayn have been wrestling forever. Talk about Ring of Honor legends.
Yeah, right.
They've been fighting forever. So I think maybe that's the next tag team that they're trying to push would win that separation of belts. Like you said, the Street Profits won that 4-way match at WrestleMania, and now they're going to go and challenge Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Raw the belt, and they lose.
I feel like we're coming up on, especially if we're going to see, and depending on the main event, but if we see a double title change with the Bloodline dropping all of their belts, I think from here on out we're going to see some separation of the belts, and I think that is a good way to do it. Then you have the ability to put another team over, even if it's a heel team that's able to sneakily get the win over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, so it doesn't make them look weak and still have the championship belts.
I think, and I've been saying this for months, and I sound like a broken record if you listen to our podcast, I think what they need to do is say it's time for a shakeup. It's time to shake up SmackDown and Raw. I don't know if they need to keep the shows separately with the talent. Personally, I do not think so.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't like it. It's kind of annoying, if anything, because it limits the amount of crossover that you can have, and it limits the surprise of what team is this team going to face? Well, it has to be a Raw team.
Because, they're on Raw.
Boring, They desperately at least need a Raw and SmackDown shake-up.
I feel like there's a good balance of it.
That's a good time to bring them the belt change.
Right.
I feel like if we're going to do a shake-up, then we need to have separate belts. Cody can't hold both, or Roman can't hold both. Usos or the Sammy and KO, they can't hold both. I think it's stupid to, because you're not giving credit to other teams that deserve that. You're not giving credit to another person, For
sure.
I think Gunther and Roman can both hold the title.
Right.
Why not? It's just giving other people. It's not helping other people. That's what I think. So shake it up and say the belts have to be, split as well.
Well, before we split the belts, or they split the belts, not that we split the belts. Yes, you heard it here first. We're decided. We are WWE. No, before they split the belts, you have to have this match. It's going to be the main event, the biggest event of all of WrestleMania, of all of wrestling of 2023, 2022. It's been a 2-year build-up almost with Roman Reigns, if you count just his reign of being a champion. You have the Bloodlines. What are they calling him? The Tribal King. There we go. The Tribal King. The Tribal Chief.
The head of the table.
The head of the table will be taking on
whatever you want to call him.
Cody Rhodes as he tries to
the American Nightmare.
Capture
He's not
the
doing
Rhodes
that, right?
family.
He's not doing that? American Nightmare?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that what they're going with?
Oh, yeah.
Is he the American Nightmare?
American Nightmare.
Oh, okay. They say it, but is he like doing it?
He has the tattoo. I don't think he has like a choice.
I don't even know if she listens to our podcast, but there's a girl on Twitter that we talk back and forth with. Martina, if you're listening, we love you. We love interacting with you. But she said something so funny. She said, every time I see Cody Rhodes, I feel like his neck tattoo just grows. And it is. Every week it's just a little bit bigger. It's going to
That's what happens with neck tattoos.
It's going to eventually just encompass his entire face.
It's the size of a quarter, and then eventually it takes over your whole throat and then your whole chest to say, and you're like, what the hell happened? That's what happens with tattoos. Just be an
American flag.
If you have no tattoos, I'm telling you, it is a disease. Don't get tattoos, because you get one, and then like 6 years later, you're like, how did my entire arm get covered in tattoos? And who is this yellow girl on the inside of my arm?
Right.
But yeah, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. It is time to. I mean, Cody Rhodes has been talking smack for weeks. He has had
Roman
amazing
has said,
promos.
not a lot.
Roman has not been around, and I think it's time for Cody Rhodes to put up or shut up. And this is going to be. I know
this is the must watch of the week.
I know what I'm picking is probably not going to be. Knowing my luck, it's not going to happen, and we're going to see more Roman Reigns. But I'm putting my eggs in Cody Rhodes. It doesn't feel
like it, though, does it? Doesn't it feel like it's just not going to be Roman?
I feel like, again, it's one of those. It's so obvious.
They're not hyping up Roman winning it.
And it's so right there, like it should be it. Like I feel
all
like
you're
it's
hearing is
too
about
obvious.
how Roman's going to take a couple months off after this. It's like, God, man,
but
you guys aren't even trying to make us believe.
John Moxley was supposed to take 6 weeks off after All Out.
That's
and we all know what happened
a whole different.
Are we talking about that? Are we even talking about that? We're gonna have a podcast.
I got 5 minutes to talk about that.
We'll pop about that at the end.
Yeah.
But the other biggest news in the week is we're having Cody Rhodes.
I just feel like there's no way it's not Cody Rhodes.
I can't see
something Cody Rhodes.
I can't see him not doing it, but at the same time, it feels like it's not gonna happen. It feels like it's wrong.
Hey, wouldn't it be like such a
You talk about a wet fart, right? Like I feel like you don't have a choice now.
Everybody
like
would be so bummed.
The build-up has been so intense with Cody Rhodes, with him coming back.
Roman
and
hasn't even been on TV
talking about this exact moment, and now it's WrestleMania. It is. If you were to pick a time to win a belt, WrestleMania is the time to do it. If you were the time to make a statement in a company, this is the time to do it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean. Roman could literally retire after WrestleMania and nobody would call boo. Like, he's had a phenomenal career within, FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, then on to NXT, and now this. Like, he could straight up retire and be a movie star. He could probably be a model or something. I
thought you were going to say an astronaut. I was like, I don't think because
maybe that's what Roman wants to do. Like, I'm here. I'm here for you, Roman. Go to the moon.
Roman's going to space.
Go to the moon, my dude. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to be around for another 10 years. I feel like he just laid down his legacy right there, and that could end it. But from what we're saying, we're both in agreement that we think KO and Sami are going to win and Cody Rhodes are going to win. So that's the end of the bloodline is this weekend? Just like that?
I mean, it makes sense.
What do you do from there? Like, nobody's going to care about what Roman has to say after he's lost the belt.
But what do you do if you retain the belt? Like, where do you go with the storyline? Would you bring Goldberg back? You re-sign Goldberg? He's a free agent. But I mean, like, what do you do? Bray Wyatt? I feel like that's even worse. And it's bad enough Bray Wyatt's not going to be on the pay-per-view as is after teasing a match with Bobby Lashley and then nothing. Yeah. They don't even like.
But Bobby Lashley is going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial match that's happening on SmackDown this week.
So is LA Knight. He's got nothing to do with WrestleMania at this point, which is a shame.
I don't get it.
It's going to be in LA. Like,
Makes
I feel
sense.
like it would have been a great push for him. They could have had him even just get squashed, like, by Taker. Like, I don't know.
Sure, why not?
But yeah, I other than overall, honestly, feel like WrestleMania feels lackluster in what we're presented with. We've got
It's
13
gimmicky.
matches, possibly 14 matches, and I feel like it's 2 days, and I feel like the magic is gone. I feel like that the WrestleMania is of long ago is not as prestigious as it was once before.
No,
I feel
it's
like
not.
that it's no longer.
Maybe we're grown. I don't
feel
know.
like it's the only reason they call this the biggest pay-per-view or the biggest wrestling event in the world is because it's been 39 years of WrestleMania
Right.
being
It's being
always
force-fed.
perceived as the grandest stage of them all. And I feel like this year, maybe I don't think it hits on every point that it needs.
I
to
got
hit
to
on.
agree with you.
I think it's going to be a great night. I think that whatever happens with the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns match is going to be interesting.
Yes.
Whether Cody Rhodes
Regardless
wins the match,
of what happens.
or whether Roman Reigns retains, I think that WWE is in a very interesting spot that I honestly feel like they're on a shift. If you follow any type of sports team, you go through these stages that, they're great for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, but eventually they come to a point where all of their stars are slowly getting older and dwindling off and moving to other things.
Right.
And you've got to bring in
You
the
have
new
to get in
rookies
the new group
and
of
rely
people.
on the 2-year, 3-year quarterbacks
Yeah.
and the 2-year, 3-year centers and the 2-year, 3-year goalies to like, okay, you need to step up
Yeah.
because
It's
Tuukka
been tough,
Rask is
though.
just retired, and now you've only been in
Right.
the league for 4 years.
But
we need you
here-
to run our team.
Absolutely, but when Tuca stepped up, everybody was like, "Nah, Tuca.
Oh, yeah,
who's this guy?"
Oh, yeah.
Nobody thought he had it
Oh, yeah.
after Tim left.
After Tim left.
And that's
if
where
you don't
we're
know,
at
we're talking
again.
about Boston Bruins goalies back in 2000.
It was right when we
11?
got together. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
2011.
When they won the Stanley Cup, Tim Thomas won the Stanley Cup, and then the next year was like, nah, fuck hockey. And Tuukka Rask ended up taking the reins, and it's just like, kind of like John Cena and Austin Theory. You
Yeah,
have an
here comes
opportunity where
your Tuukka.
John Cena can do his one last hurrah. He can put over a talent that really desperately doesn't
Yeah.
need it, but could use that push
Sure.
from a superstar like John
Yeah.
Cena, and you put him over. And I feel like this is. WrestleMania is not like the cap end of an entire year of WWE, but I feel like it is cutting off the head of the serpent and letting a fresh new one grow.
They need to, because all the people they've brought in recently that are either new talent or talent that got fired and re-put back in to be new talent again, no offense, are really not. They're not doing it.
No.
I don't think Damage Control is doing what they initially thought that would happen. I think Triple H put a lot of time and money and investment into a lot of these people thinking they were going to be the next tag team. Look at, oh my God, I can't even think of their name. Hit Row. What the hell happened to them?
Oh, they're, I'm sure, gone.
They're gone. They need, definitely, they're in desperate need for some new talent.
But I feel like they're at that point right now where they need to make that break. They need to pull the Band-Aid off and be like, okay, you're not going to like it right away, and not everybody's going to attach to it as quick as we would love them to, but this is the new beginning. This is our new set of superstars. You put Bayley in that position where she's mentoring Damage Control.
Well, good, because let me take great example. Let me take one person that needs to be put on their own and pushed to the moon. Io.
100%.
Io Sky is so good. She's being underutilized, being in Damage Control. Break it up, push her.
But she's another one that people theorize that she is a victim of not being able to communicate with the fans properly.
I don't know. Her and Asuka had a great back and forth in Japanese. I didn't even know what they were saying, and I was
Oh, it was entertaining
hyped.
as hell.
And then when she found out what they were saying, it was even better. So,
But
I mean, maybe bring out a translator. I don't know. Think of something interesting to do. But where's
You've
that
got
singles?
Bayley there. You've
Where's
got
that
Bayley
singles
there.
match though?
Right.
I'm still waiting on Asuka versus
I think
Io.
Bayley could be the female Paul Heyman. Like, honest to God, with that, like,
Yeah,
the way
I like
that she
that.
carries herself, and she just always has
Kind of
something
speaking
to
for just Io.
She always has something to rebut whenever somebody says something.
She's
and it,
so good on
and
the
it
mic.
may not be an absolute zinger every time, but when she hits him, it's like, oh shit, Bayley, you're good.
She is good.
Like, and she's obviously a great in-ring performer. But I
yeah,
agree
let's
with
do
you.
it. Let's push
I
Io
think,
and let's have Bayley be her Paul Heyman.
I think this WrestleMania is the potential to turn that corner that WWE needs to start putting the faith in the newer talent and starting to let the older talent that has been carrying this company, your Roman Reigns, your Seth Rollins. I mean, God damn it, Dolph Ziggler, come on. All you do is sell at this point. I love Dolph Ziggler, but it feels like all he does is get his ass whooped.
But no, all he does is put over the next people.
Ali, but that's perfect.
So who do we need to push? Who do we need to push that's young talent that needs that?
You got your Mustafa. I know people aren't too big on Viking Raiders, but they're talented. They need to be pushed better and harder.
Yeah, and circle back to Mustafa Ali. That man needs
Mustafa Ali.
A push.
The Miz is still like all of these guys are still great, but you've
Bronson Reed.
You've got Rick Boogs. People love Rick Boogs.
I love Boogs.
You've got,
Let's go.
Elias, who's still like he's like at his prime right now, and I think that they just need to do it. They just need to pull that trigger and pull back the old talent and let the old talent enhance the new talent. And I think this WrestleMania is, and not that Cody Rhodes is like a new talent, but I feel like he's a fresh face from before that people are latching onto very well.
Exactly. He brings in like a breath of fresh air.
Right. All right, so I think that's going to do it for our WrestleMania predictions. I can't believe we had to split this into 2 episodes. We sat down and I had 2 teeth pulled 2 days ago, and now
you should see how swollen his face is.
We're on our longest podcast yet, so obviously at this point you've already realized that we had to break this up into 2 parts. Thank you so much for joining us for both parts. We do post our new episodes every Monday, so catch us every Monday morning for a fresh episode of Coffee and Wrestling Podcast. Our following week, or this week's going to be a little bit different with our schedule. We're after WrestleMania, ROH, and Impact. We'll be posting possibly 2. Well, we'll be posting 2 shows,
at least 2, if not 3, to break up the monotony of all the pay-per-views as well. Because again, we're covering 4 days worth of pay-per-views.
Right. So there's a lot of content. So you'll be getting at least 2 episodes. Look for it Sunday, Monday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If we split it into 3 episodes, hell, we might even need to do 4 episodes because WrestleMania is so goddamn long. So either way, make sure you follow us on all of our social media at CAW Wrestling Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also YouTube, where you can catch all the podcasts in a video form.
Me personally, I'm at a Bacon Party on Twitter.
I'm at Gunk Dudley on Twitter. Thank you so much for listening to this. This has been such a long endeavor this week, and we really appreciate if you come all the way this far. Make sure you stay to the end. There's a little bit of tidbit. I screwed up on something earlier.
Yeah.
It was really extremely funny.
And again, we're at 13 matches for this WrestleMania, just for WrestleMania, plus all these other matches. Let us know on social media what match you're most excited for, whether it be just WrestleMania, all in general. Let us know what you're looking forward to most. And if you have a minute, please give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever you listen to us on. It is really appreciated, and that's what helps us get out to people like you that listened in Ireland. Thanks.
Right, yeah. I really appreciate you guys listening. And yeah, if you do agree or disagree to any of our predictions, or you just want to tell us your predictions,
let's talk. We'd be happy to talk to you.
Pod, on every platform. We thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we will see you next time. Up next, we have the match with probably the biggest man meat and...
Yeah, how do you transfer from that?
Oh, let's go to the end.